for me, when Brainstorm really started getting a lot of notoriety and people really started coming to the band, was Ambiguity and Metus Mortis. Those two records coming out, I remember because I had known about the band before that, but those two records really were kind of like breakthrough albums for you. Do you feel that way? And how do you look at those albums, over 20 years later now?
It's there is some significant albums where you recognize it, that there happened something with the band.
Mm-hmm.
It's Unholy was kind of bringing the band into a little bit into the international stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Japan was big back then still, and we had some very cool features there. And with Andy joining and with the change to Metal Blade Records, Brainstorm was recognized as an international band and as a touring band, let's so to say.
Yeah.
And we leveled up the songwriting because we concentrated that much on putting out the best record possible. Especially with Andy joining, it was, for me, it was like finding a songwriting partner that I not searched for, but that I found then, and I think you can hear it on the songs. And with Metus Mortis was the last album that just scratched the album charts. And from Soul Temptation on, we had every album in at least in the German official album charts. We have every album since then is in the chart,
Yeah.
So, and the next step, of course, was Liquid Monster, where we had been changing to a headlining band.
Yeah.
So we did the first headlining tour with Liquid Monster, and we had Achim Köhler producing the albums. So that has been the first time we started to work with a producer.
Yeah.
And next up was Downburst and Memorial Roots. We worked with Sasha Pate, who is doing the Avantasia.
Yeah.
Things, and he's also a great producer. And that changed, as you said, the band sound a little bit more in the progressive direction.
Yeah.
And and adding Sape since Midnight Ghost, feels like the perfect choice. So there's quite some albums that you always remember something was different with that release afterward.
Yeah, Liquid Monster also had a lot of progressiveness to it. I think I remember too. I think it was Ambiguity. I think you had Dirk from Gamma Ray helping out with that record as a producer as well. And like I said, I think with Sasha, I think with Liquid Monster, that's when kind of the more progressive elements sort of made it in there. But when Memorial Roots came out, man, it was like the songwriting on that, even to this day, is still quite amazing. I go back to that album, not just because of the remix, but the songwriting itself was really, really good. And just so different from what you had done before. So I thought you thought, but yeah, you know what? When I listened to the last three albums, you basically pretty much everything that you've done in the past feels like it became more refined on these last three albums. And there are bands out there that are putting out their best stuff 20, 25 years into their musical career. I mean, you're one of those bands. And amazing how a producer can change everything,
Yes, absolutely. But lucky enough, we're still Brainstorm, doesn't matter which kind of producer you hear, you listen to the music and it's Brainstorm.
Yeah, like I said, I think Plague of Rats. So the way I would evaluate it, from compared to, I think this is probably, it could be the best record you've done, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick because the two previous records have been so good, but it could be the best record you've ever done. It's just, You know, the one thing people don't realize about producers and why something like that is so important is because if you have somebody that you have because you could have a musical chemistry with a producer, that person is going to be the other ear in the room. They're not like as attached or they're not as attached to the music as you are. So you're going to come in with these songs. This person is going to listen to this, and they're going to be able to make changes, refinements, things like that. And I think that's something missing with a lot of bands. I mean, the bands that have people that have that capability are the ones putting out the best albums right now. It's just how it is.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's, when we finish the songwriting and pre-production phase, it's like we're coming to the studio and we have a producer listening to the songs with fresh ears.
Yeah.
I have listened to the songs when I enter the studio about 1,000 times already.
Yeah.
And that's very important. But you have to let things going then a little bit. You have to give your baby out of hand a little bit. But when you know it in good hands, everything is okay.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.